If I had skipped school that day like I almost did, maybe I'd still be able to sleep with the lights off. Maybe I wouldn't freeze every time I hear static crackle through a speaker. Maybe I wouldn't keep checking over my shoulder whenever someone says my name too slowly. My name's Ethan. I was 17 then, junior year. The kind of kid teachers recognized but never really remembered. I wasn't the loud one, wasn't the troublemaker, wasn't the star athlete or the class clown. I was just there. Quiet, mostly. I kept my head down, turned assignments in on time, and stayed close to the same two people every day. Marcus and Lena. That was my circle. Small enough to trust, big enough not to feel alone. Most lunches, while everyone else packed the cafeteria and shouted over each other, so I'd sit near the back wall with a notebook and sketch whatever was in front of me. Shoes, faces, chairs, exit signs, anything that stayed still long enough. Marcus would joke that one day I'd draw something cursed by accident. Lena would roll her eyes and steal my fries, while I wasn't looking. It was routine, familiar, safe. Our school in Cedar Falls was the kind of place where every hallway looked the same. Rows of lockers scratched by years of use. Bright fluorescent lights humming overhead. Floors polished so hard they reflected your shoes. Teachers standing at doorways reminding people to get to class before the late bell. Someone always running, someone always laughing too loud, someone always slamming a locker hard enough to make half the hall jump. That morning felt ordinary. Cold air outside sharp enough to sting your face. Nice steam rising from buses lined up by the curb. The smell of cafeteria pancakes drifting farther down the hall than it had any right to. Students complaining about pop quizzes, missing homework, breakups, headaches, the usual stuff people think matters when the day starts. I remember thinking about skipping third period, just walking out and going home. I remember wishing I had. Third period was History with Mr. Harper, room 214. Same seats, same faded maps on the wall, same heater in the corner knocking every few minutes like something trapped inside it. I sat near the back beside the window, half listening to a lecture about the Cold War while sketching the edge of my textbook. Marcus was across the hall in chemistry. Lena was upstairs in English. At 9:59, everybody in the room was watching the clock more than the board. Yeah, we all knew the routine. At exactly 10, Principal Grayson always came over the intercom with announcements nobody cared about. Club meetings, parking warnings, sports scores, lost water bottles. He was so consistent you could set a watch by him. The second hand hit 12. The speaker above the whiteboard clicked once. Then came a burst of static so loud, several people jumped. It wasn't normal feedback. It sounded rough, dragging, like someone breathing through sandpaper. Mr. Harper looked up. A few students laughed, nervously. Then the voice came on. "Attention! Staff and students. This is a lockdown. Possible threat outside the building. Teachers, secure your doors immediately." Every chair scraped the floor at once. Training took over before fear did. Mr. Harper lunged for the door, twisted the lock, killed the lights, and then started shoving desks against the narrow window in the door. Students dropped phones, backpacks, notebooks, anything they were holding, and moved to the far corner. Someone started crying before we even sat down. I remember one thing clearly. That voice was wrong. Mr. Grayson usually sounded tired, rushed, annoyed in a familiar way. This voice was lower, slower. Each sentence had pauses in places no person would naturally pause, like it was reading words it didn't understand. Like it had practiced saying them, but never spoken them out loud. Until now. Mr. Harper crouched beside us in the dark and whispered, barely moving his lips. That wasn't Mr. Grayson. Phones lit the room in small, shaking squares. No emergency text, no email, no sirens outside. Through the sliver of uncovered window beside me, the parking lot looked still, and no police cars. No people running, just buses and wind moving trash near the curb. Then the speaker clicked again. No static this time. "Room 214. Every head turned upward. "Stop whispering." No one in that room made another sound. No one checked the clock after that. We didn't need to. Time started measuring itself in fear. You could hear it in the room, the tiny sounds people make when they're trying not to be heard. Fast breathing through their noses, sleeves brushing against the floor, teeth clicking from shaking jaws. Someone near me was silently mouthing a prayer over and over. About 10 minutes later, the speaker clicked again. Just one sharp pop of sound that made half the class flinch. "The girl in the red hoodie by the filing cabinet," the voice said calmly. "Don't cry." A sob got cut off so fast it hurt to hear. Everyone turned toward Kayla. She was pressed beside the cabinet in the corner, face buried in her sleeve, red hood over her head. Mr. Harper moved toward her on his knees and stopped halfway, like even he was afraid to cross the room now. Phones began vibrating. Teachers were getting messages from the front office. Mr. Harper looked at his screen, pale light on his face, then showed it to no one and everyone at once. A group text from administration. Intercom system manually disabled from inside control room. "Stay in lockdown, do not leave classrooms." That should have made the speaker go silent. It didn't. 10 more minutes, another click. "Mr. Harper, your door is unlocked." He stared at the handle. None of us moved. Slowly, he crawled over, touched it, and the latch shifted under his fingers. He had locked it himself. We all watched him turn it again, hands shaking so hard the keys jingled like bells. Across the hallway came a sudden scrape, metal dragged against tile. Then the voice returned almost instantly, as if it had been waiting. "Marcus, if you move that desk again, I'll see you." My chest tightened so hard I thought I'd black out. Marcus was in chemistry across from us. There was no way this voice should know where he was, what he was doing, or even that he was there. I texted him with numb thumbs. "Are you okay?" No reply. Just one delivered checkmark that never turned into two. The room started coming apart quietly. One student threw up into a trash can and tried not to gag. Two others were calling their parents, whispering that they loved them because signal kept dropping before they could explain. A boy beside me kept unlocking and locking his phone because his hands needed something to do. Lena still hadn't texted back, and then I remembered something I hadn't thought about in years. An old rumor. Before we were freshmen, a student disappeared during a lockdown drill. No one ever proved it, but people said he went into the maintenance tunnels under the school and never came back out. They said there were crawl spaces beneath every hallway, access vents behind walls, old service routes nobody used anymore, places where someone could move without being seen, places where someone could listen. Mr. Harper made a decision then. He whispered that we were moving to the side exit near the faculty stairwell. One line, no noise, stay low. Better to risk the hall than stay trapped waiting for that voice to choose us again. We started to rise. Our knees cracking, hands on desks, breaths held. The speaker clicked. "Ethan!" I stopped cold. "Stay where you are." Hearing my own name in that darkness made my legs stop working. Before anyone could speak, the fire alarm erupted overhead. A violent metallic scream poured through the halls, so loud it rattled the glass in the door. The room exploded into movement. Students stumbled over each other, desks tipped, someone fell hard and kept screaming. Mr. Harper yanked the door open, and the hallway was already chaos. Doors all along the corridor were flying open. Students poured out crying, shouting, running with no idea where to go. Somewhere farther down the building, I heard a shriek cut off so suddenly the silence after it felt worse than the sound itself. Footsteps thundered from every direction. The lights were gone. and only the red emergency strobes flashed every few seconds, turning the hallway into broken pieces of motion. Faces, lockers, hands, shadows, then darkness again. In one of those flashes, Marcus grabbed my shoulder so hard it hurt. Lena was with him, pale, mascara streaked down one cheek, clutching her phone like it could save her. We ran together toward the front office. Near the main entrance, Principal Grayson was on the floor against the wall, breathing hard, tie torn loose. He kept saying the same sentence over and over. "I never touched the intercom. I never made any announcement." At the end of the office corridor was the control room door, closed, locked. Its small window had been covered from the inside. Students and teachers crowded behind us, begging someone to open it. Then every speaker in the hallway clicked at once. And the voice came back, calm as ever. "You were told the threat was outside." The handle turned slowly on its own. The door drifted inward. Inside, the room was empty. A chair still swayed gently at the desk. The microphone light was on, and when Mr. Grayson touched it, he jerked back and said it was warm. Security monitors covered one wall, each screen showing a classroom, hallway, stairwell, live feeds from all over the school. Then Lena pointed at the center monitor. It showed the four of us standing in the doorway, filmed from directly behind us. Police searched the school until morning. Every classroom, every locker, the roof, the boiler rooms, even the old maintenance tunnels under the building. They never found anyone. No intruder, no staff member hiding, no sign that anyone had been inside that control room with us. And the camera footage from that entire hour came back corrupted. Screens black, timestamps skipping, files damaged beyond repair. Only the audio remained, just the announcements and the sounds between them. They never identified the voice. No match to staff, students, parents, or any criminal database they checked. Nothing. The school reopened months later, but nobody wanted room 214. Some teachers refused to teach there. Students said they could hear faint static from the speaker, even when the power was off. I transferred before the next semester. Marcus hasn't spoken a full sentence since that day. Lena still sleeps with every light in her house turned on. And there's one thing they never released publicly. Every 10 minutes, on the recovered audio, there's one extra sound in the background. Breathing. If you listen closely, it's standing right behind the microphone. What do you think was inside that control room? Would you have stayed hidden or run? Comment your theory and subscribe if you want the next story.